Does it look weird when I'm looking up like this?
I think it looks great.
I can see. Okay, so like, because your face is big, like there. I got a monitor right above the camera, but then I got the stream down here. But I think I can do it like that.
Nah, I think it looks good. But welcome back to the Breaker Bros. How's everyone doing tonight? With my brother.
Great.
This is a general question, but I figured tonight we can kind of go over the free agency or what's happened so far, and maybe kind of give our final grades, and then maybe potentially, or I guess we could do the first 3 rounds in a mock draft.
Yeah. Everybody's here for the mock draft, right?
Exactly. It's already a mock draft season. I've already seen a few out, I guess even pre-free agency. And I still think there's a lot of moves left to be made because I still think there's like, it was weird because before free agency, it didn't seem like there was that many teams like that below the cap. Now it seems like there's like 15 teams that still have quite a bit of cap space to go.
Yeah.
Also, I guess starting out here, let me pull this up. I figured we could play
this. I still haven't got. Oh, okay. Yeah, pull it up.
All right. I want to play this real quick.
Biggest who day?
Biggest, most excited. Like here I am.
Okay. Who day?
Okay. All right. I feel like we could make that a sound. But of course, I guess the technical pickups were Karras, Kappa, Collins, and Hurst. So I would say, I guess based off of that, how would you rate our free agency?
Wait. What do you mean by technical pickups?
Well, because like we had free agents that were still like from our team, basically. So people that we re-signed, that would be like, well, because technically Bates, but he was tagged. But we re-signed BJ Hill, Apple, and Tupou were, I guess, the more significant re-signings. Then I know we had like both the Mike Thomases and I want to say, I can't think of the receiver's name, but he played a big part in special teams, and he's a really good blocker. Stanley Morgan.
17. Yeah, Morgan.
He re-signed.
But nobody knows we're running it when he's in.
Yeah, I know. This is so funny.
Oh, wait, he's in motion. I wonder if we're going to run to the outside, to the side he's motioning to. Never mind.
There might have been one play where we actually passed with him, or maybe a handful. But like generally, if he's in, yeah.
But like never when it was important.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it was Karras and Kappa were like literally the first day, because I remember talking about it last week, or I guess it was the first day of legal tampering, and then it kind of got quiet, and then I think technically Hurst came a little bit before Collins, because it seemed like
Hurst came before Collins. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if that meant we were actually in the Gronkowski running at all ever, or if that was just like
has Gronkowski signed?
I don't think he's officially signed, but I don't think we're like officially like I think we're clearly out of it at this point. I would say for sure.
Well, yeah, because with Brady coming back, I would imagine that Gronk is going to go where Brady goes, right?
Yeah. But
or he's going to stay with Brady. I mean, they're not going anywhere, right?
Well, because it seemed like the tight end that I think on our top of our list was Conklin, but I think he happened to go with the Jets as well. And then I don't know if this is 100% or if I'm remembering this correctly. I heard the offer that we gave CJ was exactly the same as the Jets, but he ended up still going with the Jets. So I'm not sure if you heard anything like that. But it
I didn't hear anything like that, but it just makes me think of like the TJ Hushmanzada story where the Bengals sometimes time things to make it look better than it really is, you know?
Right.
So like I remember if I remember right. So I mean, this may be kind of far off base, but when he went to Minnesota, like Minnesota offered him like a big contract and the Bengals weren't offering him anything. And then he took the big deal to the Bengals to counter, and they offered him like $6 million less.
Yeah.
But then when they do the news release, it looks like the Bengals offered him good money and he went and got $6 million more or $2 million more, right? Like some marginal amount more, but really it was like a big difference.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like one of those situations where like he got the offer and the Bengals weren't really interested, and then they kind of offered something sort of the same but not really the same, and then it was just like, well, it's not the same, or I don't know, maybe he wanted to leave. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. And then really I think the big fish for us was Collins, and then I think the rumors was there were several teams interested in at least trading for him. And like for us it was like no brainer, right? You just trade for him. Why wouldn't you get that quality of a tackle for 3 years?
On
Right.
that deal. 3 years, 10 million.
Yeah. And it was just
Each
like,
year.
why wouldn't you trade for him? But it's like they knew something, right? So
Mhm.
I did kind of want to highlight this because I thought it was kind of interesting. So like, because like for me, I'm not really like big on Twitter. But
Mhm.
the cool thing about Twitter is that you generally get the first updates when it comes to free agency. So like this one was kind of special because it seemed like, especially with the first day of, I guess, legal tampering, it seemed like we got two pretty good quality guys. I would say one above average and then one probably pretty average or pretty,
Yeah, but either way, if you
both
go from below
upgrades.
average, if you go from below average to average, that's the quickest, easiest path to getting better.
Well, the wake up call to me was we got that guard. Like we were even talking about that last week. We actually paid like
For a guard.
Yeah, for a guard like above average. Like,
Period.
yeah,
Yeah, it
it's just
doesn't
like,
even matter above average, average. The Bengals paid for a guard. It's a watershed moment.
but yeah, it just made me more excited to keep up with it. But like the initial reports was that Collins was going to visit on Friday, and then apparently that night he was with Joe Burrow. It was like you could tell it was well like orchestrated because I want to say Kappa, Karras, and then Hurst was also there at Joe Burrow's house Friday night, and they all had their dinner. And then this is where it took a twist, right? Because it was like Saturday afternoon or morning-ish. There's like reports that he left, and like it sounded like the Dolphins were getting into the mix. And then I guess there's rumors that he was getting ready to leave. And then something special happened, right? Like people started showing pictures of him at Kenwood. And I know this one was the popular one. And then there was this other one. And like it was interesting for me to see. It was just like, but
no, I remember that guy. That guy was on the news.
Yeah.
That guy, I mean, he saw him at the Lululemon, which being someone who weighs like 260, I mean, that's not clothes made for people that weigh over 200 pounds. I'm sorry. Offensive linemen should not be wearing Lululemon, man. That stuff is like, it's like if you put it on, it makes you look worse, especially if you're like, a little chunky. So hey, hey.
But
I
it
mean,
was
I'm sure it's nice stuff. It just it's not flattering for big dudes.
right. But the cool thing about this was like, this was such a Cincinnati moment to me because it was just like us going crazy, making an offensive lineman feel like a star, and it seemed like people were being pretty respectful, pretty cool about it. Like they weren't, I mean, obviously he took a picture and he seemed pretty cool about it. Like he genuinely seemed like he was like having a good time. Like sometimes people take picters, but it seemed like it was like everyone was kind of having a moment, right? And then, I feel like because then the reports started coming out and saying like, no, they were supposed to have another meeting with the Bengals that evening, so they were going to meet back up, and then we heard nothing, right? And then it kind of got really silent for a weird reason, and then it was like Sunday morning again. There's these other reports saying that he had left, and then because I remember seeing tweets like, oh, this is such the Bengals, like the Debbie Downers were kind of come out like we didn't do what we were supposed to do. And then boom, all of a sudden, we got our guy. I felt like we got our guy. It was like we didn't let him leave. The actual reports was we actually signed him before he left. Like it was just weird. It's just like ever since we got Burrow, things has been different. This is not.
Yeah, they closed it.
Yeah.
Coffee is for closers.
Well,
A, always B, C, closing. Always be closing.
Right. And then to go back, and then from what I hear, the deal that they signed was not too much different than what he had with Dallas. So it was like,
Yeah, that's what I saw. Is that the numbers, the total numbers were the same, but I don't know. NFL contracts are so funny that you don't really know until like, well, we don't really ever know until like Spotrac or
Right.
Above the Cap posts it. But I mean, you know, like it's all in the details, right? It's all what's guaranteed, what's not guaranteed. Because if it's not guaranteed and there's not some like crazy dead money structure to cutting somebody, $30 million, you can split it up in like 50 different ways. But from what it sounded like, it looked like maybe it was more front loaded, but
Yeah.
I don't know, right? I mean, none of the real details of, or at least I haven't seen any of the reports on the real details.
Yeah, I
Have
mean,
you?
to me, it's a win either way. Because I would have paid a little bit more. Like it made sense to me.
Hey,
Like
man,
if we had to pay a little bit more and we kept a draft pick, that's a win. That's a huge W. Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah,
it,
I love spending other people's money.
exactly.
I think that's everybody's favorite thing, right? It's like, yeah, spend Mike Brown's money. Who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean?
My
It's like the ticket prices are going to be what the ticket prices are. It's like, they should spend it on the players, man.
What's up, Drew? Says
Oh,
team friendly
Drew.
deal this time around. I think it's constructed to open up more space in years. In 3 years
Why
when
is
Burrow
it?
deals is up.
Yeah.
No, I
Why doesn't he
agree.
just call in. Drew, call in, man.
Yeah, he can call in. It would just take me a second to redo the pictures, but yeah, dude. But what was I saying? Actually, going to
Well,
what
he
Drew
could
was
just
saying.
do voice, right? He could just call in voice,
Well,
right?
even in voice, it still pops up the picture, so it'll mess with
Oh,
yours.
okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
either way,
That's all right.
no
He can
worries.
take my clout. I just didn't want to get in trouble for like inviting him to like, call into our, live stream at 11. Well, it's 10:30 at night, but
As long as it's cool either way. But I
No, no,
like
no.
what they're
I
doing
meant with like
because
school and stuff,
yeah,
like in the
yeah.
summer, like we could do this all the time with no guilt.
But we know we are filming this at 9 a.m. in the morning. Or wait, that's even worse because he would definitely be at school. When's a good time? Like, what time should we be saying that it would make sense?
6 a.m.
This is 6 a.m.
6 a.m. He's brushing his teeth, getting ready for school.
That's right. We're helping Drew get to school. But no, I like what they're doing because they're setting everything up because we all know in 3 years what's going to happen. There's going to be all massive contracts for Joe
Yeah.
Burrow.
Yeah, I was saying that I think potentially, I mean, the combined contract value of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase could be like $1 billion. I mean, it was a stretch, right? You kind of debunked it, but I don't know. I mean, Joe Burrow's going to get the contract he wants. Do you know how long Mahomes' last contract was for?
It was for 10 years, but I don't think the
10
Bengals
years.
are going to do that. I think the smart thing to do is
it's. I'm sure Mahomes' 10-year deal, it really isn't like a 10-year deal. They could probably cut him at some point.
yeah. I mean
But
that's true.
I'm just saying, like if Joe Burrow signs a 10-year deal, what do you think the average annual value will be? Like 60 million a year?
That's why I don't think he's gonna. I think both sides.
I think okay, just hear me out.
All right.
I think the combined contract,
Here, let me.
the combined next
Listen.
contract for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase could approach $1 billion, right? Not 1 million, 1 billion, right?
If you're talking
'Cause
about
I think
total career, possible, yeah.
no, I'm
sure.
just saying like the next contract on paper, what they report, right? Not like what the team outs are and like the dead cap
See,
and the cuts and all that weird
I
stuff.
think I kind of agree with you to a certain extent that if you're just going based off of market value, because I do believe they understand how special Chase and Burrow are individually, and then especially if you combine them together. So I don't think they'll ever try to split them. So I think the Bengals will do whatever it takes. But I also
they should
think
do whatever it takes. I don't.
I
know
think
if
they will. I think
should.
they will. Dude,
Okay.
this is honestly like the perfect scenario for the Bengals because we've always paid our quarterbacks and our receivers. Like literally, we've always paid them.
Yeah.
And then not only that,
but we got to pinch our pennies, right?
I
'Cause
know.
now we're paying guards.
But listen,
Now we're paying guards.
I know it, but the fact that we're doing that for Joe Burrow now,
Yeah.
this is why I'm saying I think that's why they're going to kind of work with this. I think they understand that you can't truly pay a top tier receiver and a quarterback. That's why I think they're going to help us out. I think if we keep him together
Do you think
for the next 10 years, they're
that-
going to they're going to help us out one way or another. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase are going to take a little bit less
Yeah.
to help out because they understand.
Whoa. I don't think they're going to take a little bit less.
I truly believe that. It makes sense. I
don't know. Why would you take less?
'Cause
I
you
don't think
have
they
to.
should
You
take
can't-
less. No, they don't.
I guess we'll find out. I guess I mean, only time will tell. Because we really have to look at like, what are the teams that are truly paying? I mean, really, there's no team right now. It was going to be Green Bay and it was going to be the Chiefs.
Well, yeah,
But they both traded their top end receivers. They're already thinking about the
Right.
future. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's just showing you like
I don't care about the future. I just want one Super Bowl, just one championship.
Yeah, Drew, if you want to join, just join, and then I'll don't worry about Eric's picture. I'll fix it. But
Nah,
he
it's
says
all right.
he says I think Burrow will take a team friendly deal to keep the core. Yeah, I agree too. Because I think they're going to be appreciative that we actually drafted Jamar Chase. I think that was like, all right. I see Drew.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Zooming in.
Whoops.
Hello?
What's up, Drew? Whoops.
What's up?
And you go up. There we go.
Yeah, I guess.
Now make me bigger. Big. There we go.
Yep. Power of media. All right.
All right, we fixed it. We could hear you, sort of. Say something, Drew.
Hello?
There
What's
we
up?
go.
See.
All right, what's the hot take?
Hey, wait,
Torch somebody.
Wait, hold
I
on,
got
hold
a
on.
new sound effect for you, Drew. Say something like, what's your hottest take?
All right, right now, hottest take has to be that Aaron Rodgers is sinking the Packers down to the bottom because he won't take anything less.
Fatality.
He won't take anything less than like $200 million per contract. And then they have to trade the receivers, like you just said.
See,
And
the only thing I disagree with that is that because I would kind of agree to that, but it sounded like the Packers were going to pay Rodgers and what's his face? I can't think of his name. The guy that they traded, the receiver. But it sounded like the Adams.
Adams,
They couldn't keep him long term, obviously, but it sounded like they were going to do it at least for a year, maybe two. But he wanted to be traded. Like he wanted to be paid long term for a long time. So it was kind of more of Adams.
That Avante is just such good friends with Derek Carr that he's like, I need to go to Oakland and help out Derek Carr because he's kind of teetering a little bit. Let me do him a solid.
he wanted long-term security, and he is friends with Derek Carr. So I feel like it just worked out for him because he made it clear he didn't want to play under franchise tag because he obviously, in case he gets injured, he wants that guaranteed money. So it just was the best of both worlds.
Bills, y'all. Dollar.
And I think when people watch what Jamar Chase and Burrow have, I mean, I think that kind of makes it like. So I assume they have a really good friendship. I do believe that there is something there and that they really
They're
are.
neighbors.
They're neighbors, yeah.
Yeah, so like
Jamar Chase went around and just knocked door to door to buy houses.
Well, I meant in Adams and Carr. I do feel like they're buddies.
Jamar Chase knocked on your door, knock, and it was like, "Hey, Josh, I want to buy your house. How much? Like, what's the multiplier you put on what your house is worth to sell it to Jamar Chase? Do you sell it to him for 200%? Do you sell it to him for half?
No,
Like,
I would sell it for
I'll sell it to
exactly
you for
market value.
$50.
I'd be like, you could have it for market value, but this is what I expect.
What do you expect? What's the trade?
I want like at least a game ball, a game jersey, like one game item per year for the rest of his life, and we couldn't like come like I don't want to be too greedy because like if it's like a milestone, like I'm not gonna take that ball, but I do expect one game something a year, and that would be my deal.
Mm-hmm. You're not gonna make them come on Breaker Bros?
Oh, that too. Maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly. Obviously, but I would, as a gesture, I'd be like, I'll give it to you market value,
You'd
but
be like, never mind. How about I just give you $1 million extra?
no. Actually, that'd probably be smarter on his end, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like that would work out. I think they'd be kind of cool. Like I wouldn't like hassle him and be like, I'll just give it to you market value, but this is what I want.
Yeah.
What would you give him?
Okay.
Or what would be your offer?
I don't know. I would trade them.
Trade?
I would just want a house as good as mine in the same school district. And I'd just be like, okay, you want to live on the same street as Joe? That's
Me
fine.
too. Like,
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, because you got to think about it. Because Joe Burrow already lives on your street. So this is like you giving up being Joe Burrow's neighbor.
right? I know. Could you imagine? Be like, wait, Joe Burrow lives on the street? Like what?
Oh, for real? Joe Burrow lives here? No, I'm not selling. Hell no. I would want to trade for an equivalent house in the same school district. And then he'd have to pay like for my moving expenses and stuff.
All right, Drew.
And I want to hit tracks.
What would be your deal?
I would say probably the house trade and season tickets.
Season tickets.
I like that.
Yeah.
You live
For a
in
lifetime,
Chicago,
of course.
man.
Well, this is theory. Well, why would he want
Oh,
a
in
house
theory,
in Chicago?
you
don't
theory,
live in
I live in
Chicago. Okay.
Cincinnati.
I'm with
okay.
you, Drew, because I'm in Dallas too. I just assume we're all
Yeah.
there, right? Like we're assuming
Yeah.
we're there, right?
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's
in
fair.
that
Sorry,
situation,
Drew.
he's on the Bears, and that's a nightmare.
Right.
Yeah, sorry,
Like, what
Drew.
the
I
hell
kinda
happened?
crapped on you there. That wasn't fair. How well, you're young enough. He'd be like, yeah, man, how about this? You buy my parents' house, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And then I get to live here until I'm done with high school.
Without their knowledge.
It's just so the deal is I'll convince my parents to sell you the house, but I get to keep my room.
That sounds like a
season
pretty
tickets.
sweet deal. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. All right. So back to the initial question. I guess since we kind of summed everything up, what would you give the Bengals free agency grade so far? I don't know if we want to do like ABCD type grade or maybe one out of
Yeah, dude.
yeah. All right. Yeah.
ABCD.
Let's do that.
Grades,
Do you want to
report
go
cards.
first? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All
I'll
right.
give him an A. This is exactly what I said at the preseason of last year.
Right.
This is, and to be fair, maybe it's hard to do this unless and until you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like I think offensive linemen or just free agents in general, like they see a team, they see the talent, and they're just like, yeah, I want to play for that team. So it's easy to get guys at market value, right? Because I feel like maybe guys like Lyle Collins has 2 or 3 teams offering him basically the exact same deal, and then you just pick the best team. So last preseason or 2 years ago, the Bengals would always be the worst team, but now the Bengals are the best team offering free agent contracts, right? So gotta give them an A. I think 100% A, right? Well, not 100% grade, but like definitely an A, solid A, not A plus, but A.
All right, just a quick follow-up question. Would you say that they have the best free agency so far out of all the teams?
I don't know about the other teams because I only care about the Bengals.
There you
but,
go. There you go.
All
right.
I mean,
I can
it's hard to
answer
say, right? Because I mean, to be fair,
Well,
right,
what about
the guard and the
let's
center
just keep
that
it
they
in the division
signed?
then? How about
The
that?
guard and the center that they signed, I never heard of them until the Bengals signed them, and I looked them up. I was like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then Lyle Collins, I heard of him, and I know he's like a legit, like, potential to be like a really good right tackle.
Mhm.
So,
Pro.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, okay, the other teams, did a lot better than the Browns, and then the Steelers get it incomplete, and then the Ravens are kind of.
They've been static. They have not really done anything.
Yeah, but the Ravens are kind of in the same spot that the Bengals are in, right? They've got a good team, right? They had a lot of injuries last year. But they have a good team, so they don't have to make a ton of moves. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, but they also have really good coaching. That's what I give them. But Drew, I mean, what would you say your grade would be for the Bengals?
I would say I would give them an A minus. And the one thing that would bring them up to an A plus would be to extend Jesse Bates. Because right now he's on the tag, and that's generally considered to be a death sentence if you play for the tag under for 2 years or more. So they have to extend him this year, or else he's probably going to leave. But then, in comparison to the other teams, I'd say there's teams that had better free agencies when it comes to terms of like picking up pure talent. But I feel like the Bengals free agency puts them in a better position to win than a lot of other teams.
We had sensible deals. Like
exactly. Team-friendly deals that help right now.
Well, we have real deals. I mean, we could have been like the Bills, and we could have give Miller 6 year, $120 million that makes no sense. That he'll never play out.
Well, they're paying for like 3 years,
right?
Of Von Miller, and then
so like,
the
why
other
don't
three
you
was
just
to
give
get
him a
him to
3 year
sign.
deal? That's what I'm saying. That's what
Because
people do.
because
it's
of the
fluff money.
clout, Josh.
I know.
Because no one wants to come to Buffalo, so they have to give them huge contracts.
Yeah.
But
did you hear what I said, Drew, about the $1 billion?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah,
I don't know
feel
about
like
that.
I'm okay. Who wants to bet me? Let's bet.
I'm not illegally allowed to
Are you
bet.
saying like total career earnings?
I'm not gonna take your money.
Total career earnings? I can see it.
No,
but
no,
like,
not total career. I'm saying
their next
I'm saying
extensions
that
combined.
here's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Saying that the Bengals
this is a hot take.
are gonna re-sign Burrow and Chase,
I do believe that.
right.
and I'm gonna say the sum of the reported contracts, right? So whatever,
So
like
is that-
number that
that-
shows up as the extension, right?
So signing bonus guarantee, and then
It's the additional
incentives.
all of it.
Yeah.
All the stuff, even like the fluff years, like like
Maximum
if
potential.
you dig into the details, you know that Von Miller's 6-year deal is really a 3-year deal.
Right.
But what I'm saying is they're both probably going to sign like 10-ish year deals, and I would not. I'm. This is a stretch. I think that the real over/under number should be 900 million, but I'm going to say 1 billion.
So
1
you're
billion.
saying Jamar Chase is going to sign 10 years?
See,
No,
I think we all can agree that.
Yeah, I guess that's
They're
what I'm saying.
most
Which is
likely
really
gonna-
dumb when you say it out loud.
Yeah, because I think we're all agreeing. I think the only difference is that you're saying it's going to be a one extension, where I think the Bengals are going to extend both of them twice.
Okay. Let's scrap that. Let's scrap that.
I can see.
How about
Burrow.
how about their second year, or I'm sorry, their second contract, the total per year average is going to be 100 million
Both combined.
combined. Yeah, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's
I think it's going to be lower.
second contract is going to be 100 million.
Here's the thing. Like, okay, so the cap's going up. I can't see Joe Burrow. Well, I can see Joe Burrow getting paid Mahomes level money.
He will. Why wouldn't he?
Like, he will. Maybe even a bit more because like the cap's going up and contracts keep getting inflated.
No, I mean because
Jamar
it's
Chase,
just like Kirk Cousins' original contract doesn't look as stupid anymore, right?
Right now, the biggest wide receiver deal is $30 million a year. So that would require bumping up $15 million for a receiver to sign, which I don't know if I can
Would you
see.
say it's 40 million is the max receiver right now?
Oh, it's 30. It was just
30.
Tyreek Hill, 30
30
a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're
And
talking
then
about
the
like
top
60-40
quarterback. The
30
top
plus,
quarter-
let's say around 55
or
top
65-35.
Burrow.
The top quarterback is what, 50 now?
50, so
Yeah.
it'll probably be around 55, 60 for Burrow.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
100 million.
Yeah, that's about 900.
Yeah, I'm just it's crazy. I hope that they're the next $1 billion people.
I
That'd be
think
awesome.
they could create contracts in such a way that like if they hit certain like championships and stuff, they could probably max out their deals that way. But I think I don't know. I think they also get it because like the one thing I've always really appreciated about Burrow is that he just seemed like a very like smart and like a guy that gets it right. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they'll write the contract in such a way that he'll get the most money like 1 year, but overall it'll be like a team friendly deal, if that makes sense.
I think if anything, he'll backload the contract.
It'll be in such a way that he'll get, because I think when it comes to these contracts, and it goes back to that Miller contract, is that they want to be recognized by the contract in such a way that they can say he was the highest paid quarterback per year. Because that's basically what. That's why they had
Deshaun Watson's deal like fully guaranteed at 48.
Sean Watson's deal is like 4 years, 120 guaranteed.
It's like the crazy. I just can't believe it's such a Browns deal. Like that's something that the Browns
ridiculous.
would. Like,
they have two big contract quarterbacks on their team right now. Well, it's crazy. Baker Mayfield's still on the team.
Yeah, but it's under his rookie contract, which is very like manageable compared. Because like even like an average quarterback gets paid crazy amount of money. Like they get paid 10+ million to be like maybe slightly above average. And
they
then
extend. Did they extend him?
Did he extend? Did he sign?
I thought they extended him last year.
Baker? No.
And then it kicked in this year. Yeah.
No. I think they probably did the 5th-year option, which I think he might be like 16 million. Which, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's probably gonna have to get cut. Well, I don't know. Is that money guaranteed?
No, I think it's expensive for them to cut him either way. But clearly they don't care.
Like I can't.
So Brownsy.
Like
the Steelers said they'd be on Baker Mayfield if he gets released, which I find to be hilarious.
That's actually probably not a bad move.
No, it's not a bad move.
I mean, they just signed Money Mitch, so what else do they need?
Yeah, they do have Mitchell Trubisky, so I don't know why they would need a quarterback.
I think after the show that Malik
Wilson
or Willis,
it's Trubisky, Dwayne Haskins, and
no, I think they're gonna go for that Willis.
He's so right now Baker carries a 18.85, actually 86.
That's actually
$18,858,000.
Relatively speaking, that's not bad. That's probably what average quarterbacks are going to get paid now.
It's not a horrible.
It's not a bad cap number. Yeah, because like when Baker's hot, he's an above average quarterback. Like
Look, I don't watch Browns games. I only watch the Browns when they play the Bengals. And
unfortunately, he looks really good.
In my mind's eye, like Baker Mayfield, I haven't seen Baker Mayfield throw an incomplete pass except on purpose. Because like when he plays the Bengals, he doesn't miss.
On fire.
I mean, like, what's his completion percentage against the Bengals? Like 70, 80%?
Something like 80%. Yeah.
He's never lost against the Bengals.
The crazy thing about this is that they know that they're giving up so much on the first year because like they know basically Watson's going to be suspended, right? It's just a matter of like 4, 6, 8 games. No, I think he's pretty much going to get suspended. Like, I think it's a foregone conclusion. Like, he's going to miss some games this year. Like, I just don't see a situation where he doesn't miss any games.
That's a hot take.
No, I mean
that is a hot take because technically he wasn't suspended last year. He just didn't want to play.
Well, I think technically he sat out, but at the same time there was legal issues that he had to deal with. Now I understand that the thing is that the NFL can suspend people by making the NFL looking bad, right? So I think there's going to be a consequence because like this is I know it's not like a legal issue per se, but there is like a social aspect to it. So
it's a legal issue as well.
Well,
historically speaking, though,
I guess
the
criminal
NFL,
wise, right? Like he didn't get charged criminally, right? But civilly,
civilly.
Maybe
but then some of those were dropped, I think, right? I might be mistaken, but
I haven't looked into it for a while, but like it's still an issue.
Right. Historically, though, the NFL doesn't hand out as severe of a punishment for stuff that's off the field.
Well,
if you look at it, like Calvin Ridley just got a year for betting like $2,000 on a game that he wasn't even playing in.
He got more than a year.
Calvin Ridley?
Well, he got an indefinite suspension, so he's out for the year for sure. But then he's got to beg his way back into the league, which is
time.
Oh, he has to apply for reinstatement. Yeah,
right. So they could just say nah.
Yeah. Then, like, just I don't want to speak on rightness or wrongness of how the NFL punishes off the field stuff, but like historically, it's not as harsh as what they did for Calvin Ridley gambling, which is something that directly
I agree.
affected the play on the field.
I don't think it's going to be like a full season by any chance, but I mean, it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be something. I could be wrong, but either way, it's a gamble. And then the fact that they extended and then fully made it guaranteed. Like, what if he gets hurt? But it's such a Browns thing to do. I don't get it.
Kirk Cousins' deal's fully guaranteed.
Yeah, but isn't he only playing for 3 years though?
He's been on a 3-year deal for like the past 5 years.
Right, but like, yeah, that makes sense to me. But like, they have essentially Watson under the contract for another 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna hit their books regardless of what happens for 6 more years.
Yeah.
They're relying on him to be who he is, and if he's not, I don't know. That's such a Browns move. Like I said, it just reeks of desperation on like crazy levels.
We could, yeah. We'll have to do a deep dive into the Browns issue because it's the thing that's weird about the trade is, they gave up so many draft picks, but then they also gave up all the cap space. So I don't know how you build a team. It's sort of like the Rams philosophy, and I've been against the Rams philosophy, and they won the Super Bowl and beat us. So I guess I can't really say anything about it.
It's like the two philosophies right now is what you see what the Bengals have done, which is built through the draft, and then solid free agents, and you see what the Rams have done, which is built through massive splashes in trades and free agency. It's also the tale of two cities because Cincinnati is not as appealing as LA in many ways, just on a place to go play basis. But then,
unless you're a big man,
yeah, and unless you are truly enlightened, in which case you pick Cincinnati.
Skip the Lululemon, go to the Skyline Chili,
exactly. But,
go to the Penn Station. You know.
But then you've got
vegan crap here, man. It's just beef.
Yeah. You've got the Rams philosophy works if you truly go all in. They don't have another first round pick for like 7 years. Something like that. Because they traded them all.
I feel like the Rams philosophy only works if you are in cahoots with the NFL and you build a massive studio and a $3 billion stadium and the refs throw flag. Never mind. Let's not get into this. I'm just gonna get depressed.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be a good time to mock it up. I guess it's our first official mock of the offseason. I guess we have
1.0.
We have a pretty good idea of who the Bengals could get, and I think there could be one more signing because it seems like we still have enough cap space. So I don't know if they're going to add depth or maybe possibly. I think corner makes a lot of sense. If they
I would like to see Kobe Bryant.
Oh, from UC? Draft?
That's just me. I don't know if that's a possibility.
There you go. I would like to see at least one Bear.
I would love to see Kobe Bryant. He's a damn good football player.
I like the receiver too.
I would like
Pierce. Is it Pierce?
Alec Pierce.
See, the thing is,
he's a future Patriot.
I don't think we need Alec Pierce. I think we're fine.
There is no way that Bill Belichick will not draft Alec Pierce. That is money in the bank.
It's the perfect fit. All
right, let's see. All right.
He's like the high dollar Chris Hogan. The rich man's Chris Hogan.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe just slow down a little bit.
I think first pick.
What are you thinking?
Has to be Aiden Hutchinson, probably. It's either him or Kayvon Thibodeau, but is
a Hutchinson the guard?
They're both DNs.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm thinking something else. All right.
Hutchinson's the one from Michigan, and like historically, defensive end is a very safe pick to go with. But I don't know. I feel like the Jaguars are probably going to go safe there. I would be surprised if we see a quarterback in the top 10.
I feel like the Jaguars should go Sauce Gardner, maybe number 1 overall.
No, I think he went. Here, I'll go back up.
Yeah.
So they have safety going number 1.
Safety.
What? I don't know.
Kyle Hamilton.
Sorry, I don't even know who that is.
They have Sauce
Might just-
going number 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
good.
oh, there's your there's Hutchinson.
Yeah.
There's
Thibodeau and Hutchinson, yeah. Brand new Darrell Rivas 2.0. Sauce.
I'm sorry. Like I feel like we need to restart this, man.
You want to redo
That's
it?
Kyle
All right,
Harris. That's
I'm
that's
sorry.
not right.
Okay, look.
all right. You're already downing.
There will
Yeah.
be a $1 billion quarterback contract in the NFL before a safety goes number 1 overall.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
Here we
no.
Redo the matrix here.
All right.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Did you see it? Who was it?
It was Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay. All right.
All right, we
Yeah.
buy that. We
All right.
endorse that.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Boom.
All right.
Then
That is a safe
Kyle,
pick.
damn, they really have this.
Really
what if he
like
goes
Kyle
number 1
Hamilton.
though? What happens if he goes number 1 though?
World implodes. That's
I
right.
mean, you got the Jaguars and you got the Lions picking 1 too. So
Actually,
anything can
I don't
happen.
know about this as far as like the safety because I feel like why wouldn't I feel like
Why would
Lions
they
wouldn't they,
Invest in a high safety. I don't get it.
I feel like he would go higher though, Sauce, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's just
Oh.
me being kind of a homer, but it seems
Yeah.
about
Guaranteed
right so
top
far.
10.
Kind of want
Hey,
to see.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
4 or 5, man. That's great for the Cats.
There's Tyler
Ooh,
Malik
That's
Willis.
interesting. That's interesting. I actually that kind of makes sense.
I guess so, but I don't see if you're gonna go a quarterback there. I don't see why you don't go Kenny Pickett.
Oh, they have Jordan Davis for the Steelers.
Because of Los Manos.
Oh, look, they got
Genius.
Olave. I mean, that kind of makes sense too.
Yeah.
But
His hands are smaller than my hands.
there's
right?
okay,
Yeah,
well,
Kenny Pickett.
there's Lindenbaum.
Dang, bro. I kind of wanted Linderbaum, but we got Collins, so that kind of slides up over.
Well,
to center,
yeah, but
so.
to me,
Oh,
it's
there's
just sort of
Zion
like
Johnson.
it's really interesting
That's who I
to
was
see
thinking
who
of.
goes right around where the Bengals pick. Because I
That's
mean,
the Dolphins pick right there. Pick 29. That's the Dolphins.
29.
But they traded?
who else is there that maybe the
Is-
Bengals would want? Because there's a
would go
chance that any of
corner.
these guys. You think corner?
I would go corner
Who are
because
the
right
corners that are
now
on
I
the clock are available?
think right now we're currently lacking in that department. We have solid corners, but we don't have like a true number 1.
So according
Okay.
to PFF,
I don't know who any of these guys are.
I only know
Um,
Kobe Bryant.
like I tried to do like a few simulations
Well,
and
he's pretty
like
far down the list, huh?
like the one it looked like we had potential at was this Booth. I think that would be kind of like a dream scenario if we could get him or
Mhm.
there was a guy from Florida. Is he not on here? I think he got drafted.
Main thing is I just don't like having. We've got Woozier, Hilton, and Apple is our like trifecta right now, but I don't really like. I like the idea of Apple in certain situations, but I don't like him as a full-time corner.
No, I agree with that. That's why I think they still could potentially sign a veteran corner.
Stephon
But-
Gilmore, I think, is what's being talked about right now.
I kind of had a feeling that like that before like the actual free agency started. But the longer it goes, I feel like it's not going to happen. But I don't
Why?
know.
I think
The longer it goes, the cheaper the player gets.
That's true though. That's it. But I feel like at this point he would have signed, right? Or
the debate I'm pretty sure is the Raiders are offering him a very big deal, but the Bengals are his best chance to win
right.
again. So it's like a choice between those two. It's like Collins picked between big money from the Dolphins and which they were clearly willing to shell out because of the Armstead contract and the Bengals, and he picked the Bengals. So
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was
Who do
even
they
thinking
who do they have listed as the Bengals need? Does that say defensive line or offensive line?
this is O line.
that says offensive
We only
line
have one
only.
need. Yeah, but
I would agree. I would agree.
To me, I like trying to either snag a rusher or like a defensive tackle at the bottom of the first round.
Interior defensive line, I think, is a big one because we did lose Ogunjobi.
Well, not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily. That's true. Not necessarily.
so I think
He could
Travis
come back
Jones
cheaper because he failed the physical.
would be the best.
I
tackle
don't know
or,
what a Travis Jones is.
Yeah, I'm
He
not
looks
really
like
familiar
a dog.
with him. Well,
I mean,
according
he's so good they don't even have a picture of him. I mean, come on, PFF, man.
But I guess if we
You got
go in
somebody ranked.
BPA,
They got
then
they got
Jalen.
like they got Jalen Phillips ranked 30th best, and they don't have a picture. Or what was his name? Jalen Petrie.
Trey.
6 foot,
They have
197.
they have him ranked as their
12
30th best
picks.
dude.
I mean,
They didn't have the
that's
time
high
to
school.
like
Never
take a
mind.
picture of him.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
This
Those don't look
free
like they're
stuff that they
pictures.
let us play with is trash. I demand more for my $0.
Yeah, I think corner would be a bigger need at this point than maybe edge or even.
I don't know. I think the question is if somehow Tyler Linderbaum
I think that edge and
It's a possibility.
corner are equal need, right? Equal value, equal need. I mean, it's always hard to get those two positions. So if there's a guy that's good, you get him.
We need an edge rusher because we've
Yes.
got Sam
You
Hubbard.
never
and
can have enough edge rushers.
That's
Never
true.
can
Trey
have enough.
Hendrickson, and now we're
Can never
getting
have enough
outside
corners
back.
or edge or rushers basically.
Yeah, you
on
can never
defense.
have enough edge rushers or corners.
Okay.
You need them both.
I mean, here's my question: is that first of all, I don't think Tyler Linderbaum should go outside the top 15, but that might be a hot take. But I think if somehow he
I don't
does
think it's
fall
that
to
hot.
31,
It's just weird,
like,
right?
do we
It's
take
just
him
like,
because then we shift Kappa over to left guard and replace Carmen?
I think you
Or is that
definitely take him.
redundant at this point?
I think you definitely take him because it would make sense because he doesn't necessarily have to start right away either. And then because if he's not better than whoever we have, but at the same time, a lot of people that we have or like they could be cut or they're not really like long-term solutions. We don't know if Williams is going to be there for a long term. So like the more people like right now we have
Don't
3
even know
years
if
to like
Carmen's going to be long term.
right. So like we need to like figure out who's staying, who's not, because we basically have 3 years to re-up because we can only keep a handful of people that we have right now because everyone's going to get these mega deals. So like now would be the time to get because we know nowadays linemen are the ones that take the longest to develop. So like get them now. We don't want to wait
It's
3 years
either
from
they
now.
take a while to develop or
'Cause
they're instantly good.
Because we know we're not going to re-sign. Like, if all things goes well, we probably keep Collins for a little bit longer, right? But are we really going to re-sign Kappa at $10 million? I don't think so. I think that's when they're going to come in and be like, okay, we have 3 years to groom a guard, and that's where you can save money, right? We have 3 years to figure out who can be a good guard. They'll be able to practice with him. They'll be able to know who's good as him, right? So like down the road, that's where you save money, right? So it's like, so yeah, because Linderbaum, he could be a good guard, right? Because like his measurables, or maybe he would be a better center, but
He's a center, but I feel
don't think if he's there, I definitely think you take him
Right.
because
yeah,
because if he's the best center, then the center that they signed in free agency might
Harris.
be a better guard than Carmen or was it Smith?
you're talking about, yeah,
Deontay Smith?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like, yeah, if you can improve the line, then you improve the line.
Okay.
I think
Well,
originally
But
before Collins signed,
it's sneaky though because they don't need to pick a center, so so nobody's going to trade into 30 and snipe them.
where did they have him?
Who they pick?
They had.
and the Chiefs don't need a center; they have their center.
I don't see the Bills taking the center though. This
They don't
seems
need
kind
one
of a
either.
stretch, but
They have Mitch Morris; they're fine.
Yeah, it's possible.
I
All right, make a pick. You guys need to make a pick, man. We're taking forever. We're already picking like in the second round because we're holding our card.
I'm
arguing
like
over.
Based off of the way the draft's going, and I'm just going to rely on PFF. I'm just going to take the best available corner. Just
Okay,
based off
who's
of
the best available corner?
Well, it's just Jalen. I don't.
Jalen.
Yeah.
And it seems like
Yeah.
someone we would draft out of. Was it Baylor? Yeah.
No.
Is that where William Jackson went?
No, William Jackson was Houston.
A Bengals pick would be they either pick Big Ten or SEC at corner.
LSU. They
Okay,
just find
so
the most
Big
available
Ten and
LSU
SEC
player.
players.
You want to go with Daxton Hill then?
Yeah, let's
Michigan.
do
Yeah,
that.
let's do it. NFL LSU.
All right. This is where we're getting into maybe
Oh, was
Bearcat
that a
territory.
Bearcat logo? Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, I think that would be Desmond
Oh,
Ridder.
Alec
There's Alec
Pierce.
Pierce.
Well,
No.
that is a Chiefs pick. They do love Bearcats.
Oh, see,
And
that's
they need a receiver.
that's
so.
my dream scenario is getting. Well, I wouldn't say dream, but because like
We need him.
we don't necessarily need a
Realistically.
receiver, but I think people need to start thinking long term though, because like think about it, like this
Well,
draft.
Did you see
Let's-
another Bearcats logo go by?
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
I
go
think
back
it was
up.
Ridder,
We'll go back up.
probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or yeah, Ridder. The Seahawks, I think it was.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep.
I like that. For
That's-
them. Oh, wait, did they pick Kent? Did they take Desmond Ridder and Kenny Pickett?
See, I agree with this.
Wait a minute.
I agree with this, but this is going to be like a trade in, like here or there.
All right. Can
There's
you go
no-
back down to that for a second?
Because if he,
Yeah, that
Seahawks
doesn't.
picks.
There's no way.
They picked 2 quarterbacks in a row.
No, I don't see
Oh.
that happening.
that's
It's
really
your
weird.
free software.
Even though I do like Des Ridder more than Kenny Pickett.
No, I'm just saying if this is truly the case, they're going to trade up and get him in the first round. Like, why would you?
Yeah, no, you want the quarterback in the first round,
Right.
Did Myjai
Because-
Sanders go
because
yet?
Oh, the trade. Okay, so this is what happened. The Lions
why would
traded
they
in to
pick
get
Sam Howell?
because they want that 5th-year option.
Yeah,
That makes
you need
sense.
That 5th-year option.
So they got. So it looks like, and no one has really even talked about this, and I actually kind of thought about this. I can actually see a scenario where we actually trade out because,
yeah,
like, where the value is for us is that we may be able to multiply our second round picks or whatever, and because there's going to be teams that are going to overvalue these quarterbacks to get those extra years, and we
Yeah.
may even see 2
oh,
teams trade
that
in.
would be like almost as fortunate as getting Jamar Chase last year.
Yeah.
The fact that the quarterbacks are all kind of like
Overvalued.
Yep.
No. You want they're not like top of the first round guys, but they're all guys that are
Late
Like,
rounders.
second, third rounders. But
Teams are
you
so
want-
desperate.
if you think a guy's a second round pick,
Or
you're
earlier
still
second
better
round pick.
off. If you think he's a second round pick, you're better off
First
picking
round.
the guy at the end of the first round than anywhere in the second round because of the 5th-year option. Because you
The Texans needs
you're
every
saying
position.
you're saying the player's developmental, which means that you knock a year at least off of their contract. So you want that control, because if you put all that time and effort into developing the player, you need to get the payoff. So the Bengals, like you said, Josh, might be in position to trade into the second round, pick up another pick from one of these quarterback needy teams, which in my mind would be a dream scenario because in the second round the Bengals are money.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Can we
like
take a look at Myjai Sanders?
Did he get picked?
Is he off the board?
I don't think so.
Because that could be a good pick potentially.
Yeah.
Alright, let me see.
Well, is it a realistic pick?
what position
Well,
is he?
I mean, watching
an
the
edge
Alabama
rusher.
game, Sanders was blowing it up against the top linemen. So I feel like the physicality is not a problem.
He's
I think it's just he's an edge rusher. Yeah.
Oh, edge,
I think it's
okay.
just a question of what he might be a linebacker. I think it's just a question of whether or not teams are going to devalue him because he played in the AAC or not. But I don't know if that'll be a problem considering we just saw Liberty got picked up by Malik Willis got picked up out of Liberty.
Also, that
So-
could be my dark horse at the end of the first round too. Is a linebacker that's kind of getting undervalued because in the reality of we're not going to be able to keep both of our linebackers, and I think. I mean, we're definitely
think
going to
we
let one
wanna
of them
keep
go,
Logan
if
Wilson.
not both. Yeah, I think it makes more sense to keep Wilson, even though I really like Pratt. But I mean, we're not going to keep both of them. That's like the future for the Bengals right now. They're going to rely on a lot of these people that we developed to get big contracts, and that way we can cash in on those additional picks. Because Pratt could be an additional pick. Higgins is definitely going to be an additional pick. I mean, unless we get like some insane trade offer, which is a possibility. But that's what I'm saying. Like if we get a receiver now, it kind of makes sense because long term we're not going to be able to keep the big three for we got to start getting ready for people to fill in, and that way we don't really lose that much. But But that's why I think linebacker kind of makes sense at the end of the first round, because if someone drops, then we kind of have a replacement for either Pratt or maybe Wilson. Because maybe they keep Pratt knowing that Wilson's going to get a much bigger contract. I mean, it could go either way, right? I mean, I could see it either way. Or maybe a weird way that they somehow both leave. But the way I see it is that we'll probably keep one of the two, right? So I just don't know if we can keep both. And now would be the time to kind of figure out who can kind of replace them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess as far as the board right here, what is everyone thinking? Like,
I
Well,
think
you
in
drafted a
defense-
corner, so I would think either an edge,
Do we take a look at tight ends?
tight ends for
Yeah,
sure.
let's
Yeah.
try.
Although I don't know about that because I'm a Thad Moss truther.
Ooh, Greg Dulcich. That
Yeah,
Moss
but
Dulcich.
we could potentially get this guy in the third round.
I like
Let's bet on
Dulcich.
that.
He seems like a third
Because
rounder.
his uncle or cousin does a lot of Motor Trend shows I like. So
All right, you know what? I kind of like edge because I agree. We address the
yeah,
cornerback, right?
edge rusher.
You can
The
never
Bengals
have.
need edge rushers.
In
I
the reality of
think
it, when
that they
Osai went down, that
should
kinda
draft
hurt.
2 or 3. They should draft 2 or 3.
Depends if I don't know if they think Osai's healthy or not.
Man,
Even
I
if
feel
he's
like
healthy, I think you need 2.
let's see this. Let's see 6'4". Oh my gosh, this might be our guy. Hold on. Oh my god, this guy's 6'5".
Oh,
What
6'5".
the heck?
But don't get too sucked into the measurables.
Well, keep scrolling down. Are you on all edge? No,
Oh,
go to edge
sorry.
only.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I did click on that. All right, let's see. Pascal.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Kentucky,
he would
though.
be the best value SEC
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah,
45.
gotta do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's hope our tight end drops to us. Yeah, I can see the tight end or a really speedy receiver, right?
Although I mean, I
Third
feels
round.
like
Oh, another Bearcat went.
Who was it?
Go up. Let's see who the Bearcat
Kobe.
was.
oh
No,
he's the
Beavers.
linebacker.
So we might be able to get Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, maybe.
Zach Tom.
I wonder.
What a name.
Firsty first.
That's like something you would see in Madden. Like
Yeah.
ooh, okay.
Safety? No,
Oh,
we don't
Josh,
need a
you gotta
safety.
pick Brian Cook.
That makes sense. So safety's another because
Full
like
rain guy.
Is it?
he went
I
to.
mean, Eats and
Both Cook
Bell.
and Beavers are Coleraine guys, right?
I didn't know that. I mean, 101. So that's about. It's not. Yeah, it's about where we're
It's
at.
pretty
So
close.
that's basically like within range, right?
Mm.
Part of need. Hold on, let's see. No, yeah, I definitely like. Was that Greg? No, he's gone.
He's gone. Damn. I think if Dulcich isn't on the board round 3, then you have to either wait or just kind of stick with Hayden Hurst. But I don't know. Like
Are any of these linemen looking nice?
SEC lineman.
Actually, here, let me get rid of.
Losing CJ Uzoma's production wise, if you look at the numbers, isn't really that big. It's more of a
Oh, no.
locker room
He's a
thing.
Mount Healthy guy. Cook went to Mount Healthy. Can't pick him.
Mm.
There's Max Mitchell, who's a tackle. Marcus Jones.
I think we go tackle. Because Jonah Williams is historically not very healthy.
Yeah, I can see either a lineman or I don't know. That's an interesting one, but I'm not sure if that's because safety. I do think we will draft a safety. Like we because
Really?
yeah, because one of the people that what's his name, Allen retired, So that to me was a
Ricardo
signal.
Allen?
Yeah, that
Didn't
we're
he
gonna at least.
resign? I thought he resigned.
So they're gonna pick a free safety or strong safety.
Allen is a strong safety, or was a strong safety.
Whoops. So that makes sense because what's his face or wait, never mind. Because I'm thinking, well, we don't know what's going to happen with Bates, obviously, but I still have a little hope that they will extend him, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I think obviously you want to re-sign Bates, but the question is,
We don't know about Bell.
how replaceable is Jesse Bates?
Well, I think
Because-
you got to look at free agency too. It seems like there's a lot of
Yeah.
safeties this year that
Well, and the thing is, Jesse Bates, there's always safeties coming out of the draft that end up being solid. How much are you willing to overcommit to Jesse Bates for potentially play that could be not worth what you're paying him? He's not asking to be the top paid safety, but there's always the risk of overcommitting, like the Titans did to Kevin Byard, where his production fell off to a point where it's no longer worth paying him.
See, this is interesting. I'm not sure if you can see all this, but it says it's showing like the statistics for the third round for the Bengals, and the majority
Even
pick.
split.
Yeah, it's it's actually fairly even. But the one thing that the Bengals do well is that they do draft pretty like
Mid round, the Bengals draft guys have been incredible.
well, they draft like pretty evenly. Like they don't really go
Yeah.
heavy. Like so, I feel like if I kind of think if this is the way it goes, like I do think they'll get additional linemen, but I think the value would be linebacker, right? Well, wait, maybe
Probably because I think linebacker is also one of our thinner positions right now.
What about edge?
didn't we just get our edge guy in the second
We
round?
just got one in the second round.
Don't matter. I think you need more than one.
We have Osai coming back though.
That's 4.
Yeah. You kick. I mean, you need guys who can get after the quarterback.
Could be a defensive tackle too. Hold on.
Yeah, I think
Defensive tackle
linemen-
was an extremely underrated position for us last year.
Matthew Butler.
We had 3 studs
What?
inside, and it really paid off.
No, if Myjay Sanders is available, which I don't think there's any way he gets to the Bengals in the third round.
Yeah.
But if he's still available as an edge rusher, you have to take him.
Is he there? I didn't even see him.
Might
Look
be.
at edge.
Is he? There's no way he's gone.
We didn't
It's
see
weird
him,
that
though.
he's not, because I feel like he's projected
Well,
around.
Oh, there he is. He's right
showed
here.
up. Yeah, he showed up really
Okay.
light to the combine,
Yeah,
but
6'5".
he's
Like-
elite. Was the best defensive lineman for the Bearcats for a couple years. So
Yeah,
if he's available when the Bengals pick in the third round, there's no.
I don't think there's
well,
downside.
If I
to
was a
taking him.
GM, I would pick him. There's no
Yeah.
way I would not pick him in the third
It's
round.
weird.
Yeah,
And
So-
I would pick him in the second round, but I didn't want to be too much of a homer. But there's no way that he should get this low in the draft.
I mean,
yeah. Well, I
it
mean,
kinda
some
makes
of the
me-
stuff is like the Seahawks picking 2 quarterbacks in a row, just like little glitches.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, we're just going with what it says. So
Yeah,
I would say let's pick Myjay.
Oh, look, they
Brian Cook off the board.
right afterwards. I saw that. They gave us a D plus on the.
D plus. All right.
Come on, that
Hold
means
on.
it's good.
Let's do this one quicker. I just
I
want to
remember
see.
I remember all the D pluses on Jamar Chase pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember
right.
how we got
Remember
trashed
how-
for doing Jamar Chase?
Remember how I
Everybody's like, you guys
Gave
are
it a-
idiots.
I
You
gave
need
it a-
offensive linemen.
gave it a D plus too, and I was proven very wrong.
But those are the times that like you don't mind being proven wrong, right? It's like
Yeah, that's
if
a
I'm
good-
wrong about that, then I'd love to be wrong about that all the time, right? Like
It's a good problem to have.
see, this kind of makes sense. Like this right here already, because I think it was like
Yeah.
I think this might be flipped though.
Sauce Gardner to the Falcons. That's interesting.
All right,
Because if he does fall to them, that gives them like 2 lockdowns
Who's
potentially.
have the Lions picking it too?
Evan
The
Neal tackle.
Another tackle.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought they sewed up tackle for the next 50 years.
Just one though.
I thought
Just
they
one.
did.
No, Penei Sewell's so good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he
Well,
only.
no,
he only
I
play-
was talking
Two
about
dudes.
Frank Ragnow, but
Ooh, Vikings taking Malik Willis there.
why?
Oh, look,
they just paid Kirk Cousins a ton of money.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Kirk Cousins is not bad. Viking fans really don't know
Well, it's
How
not Viking
good they-
fans making this pick. It's PFF.
how good
Oh,
they
we
have
might be
it.
able to
I'm just
get-
saying, like in general,
Oh, never mind.
I
There
see
goes,
a lot of
there goes another-
trashing.
See,
of
now
Kirk
this kind of
Cousins.
makes sense.
That does make sense. I see online in general a lot of Kirk Cousins slander, and I will not stand for it because Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback.
He's a very
People-
okay quarterback.
I think he's very good.
He will get you to not winning any playoff games.
That's what Andy Dalton was. I mean,
You like that? You like that?
What is a Lewis Klein?
Man, I feel like I truly
I
feel
don't know
like
who any of these people are.
yeah, I know, but I also feel like if this is truly the case, like I think we're gonna trade down. Like if
yeah,
like if we don't
Well,
get like the
I feel like
that-
it's
let's see-
it's the best case scenario.
This Lewis, what? What's his name again?
sign,
Sign?
Do we
Seen?
want to do that?
I don't know
Like,
who he is, but I mean,
SEC safety.
he
I mean,
plays for Georgia.
pretty
He's
safe.
a safety. That's a position of need.
all right, let's
I
do it.
mean, let's do it.
See what
It's us.
I'd say if we find a suitable Jesse Bates stand-in, then I have no qualms with letting him go.
right.
But if we don't find anybody, then
Ooh, Ritter went.
ooh.
Oh, Ritter to the Lions.
No,
Oh,
see, they
come
did it
on,
again. They
man.
double picked.
Let's see that Kenny Pickett
Come
and
on.
Desmond Ritter.
Come on, Detroit. Don't pick Desmond Ritter.
Well, they did take 2 tackles. So I mean, according to
if
this
there's a team other than the Steelers that I don't want to pick Ritter, it would be the Lions.
let's see if there's any more Bearcats. Oh,
Just out of pure
I didn't see Pierce.
sadness.
Just
for
kidding.
his-
Damn it.
Buffalo Bills.
To the Bills.
Hey, that makes sense for
Yeah.
them. That makes sense for them.
That doesn't make any sense. When did
That
the
does.
Patriots pick?
Edge.
You're calling this a done deal, huh?
There's no way he gets past the Patriots. I'm sorry.
I just think with how fast he ran, I don't see how he makes it out of the first. I'm gonna be honest. Like it just,
Well,
I can see him making it out of the first.
He's
it's really hard for someone to run that fast to make it out of the first.
Think of the routes that Chris Henry
just
ran.
wait, watch. He'll get drafted at the end of the first.
I mean,
okay?
I
No,
think
no.
that
like
he's
teams are more wary
think
of like
think of Chris Henry. Remember how Chris
Yeah.
Henry was really good, but like he only ran like deep. Like he wasn't like he didn't do all the routes, right?
yeah.
Like that's who Alec Pierce is. He's kind of like
that's exactly who
That type of player.
Ross was too. When
Who?
you're fast, I'm telling you, like I feel like
I think
he's primed to
teams-
get drafted at the end of the first. Like he's just too fast not to get drafted at the end of the first.
I think after John Ross
I hope you're right.
in that
Oh,
situation
he-
where
Wasn't he the
Well,
fastest?
he
what-
ran a 4.22.
He's
They
not
drafted
as-
him 9th.
One, he's not as fast as John Ross.
No,
No.
I know,
And-
but I'm saying like teams are
and
are
two-
going to be more wary about drafting based on speed alone,
Two,
Just
he's
based
gonna
off-
be a much better pro than John Ross.
based off just that generally is not a good strategy. It's just based off measurables.
I mean,
Unless you're
Alec
picking
Pierce
linemen,
is,
it doesn't work.
He's a UC College of Engineering guy. I mean, come on.
Oh, I mean,
Like
number
wait,
one overall.
where does the Patriots pick?
they're like 16th, 17th.
Oh, that's too high. I don't think he'll get.
Yeah, I don't
20th.
think he's a first. I don't think he's going to go in the first round.
Yeah.
Only because of the I think he's more of a 2 or a 3 than he is a 1 in terms of the wide receivers
Yeah.
in the NFL. Like at UC,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like he was the alpha dog.
He was the
like
one.
the best receiver. But I mean, like I remember.
I mean, I could be
Well,
wrong. I
yeah.
don't know. I just when you're really fast, it's just hard. Like speed, you can't teach speed.
He-
Like,
he's fast, but he's not like
Well, speed's not
fastest
everything,
receiver.
though.
he's not the fastest receiver in the draft.
who was the
He just
fastest
ran
receiver?
really fast.
He was like
He
top
was?
3. No, I said who was the
Oh.
fastest?
I don't know.
Some guy ran a 4.23.
Yeah, I think Pierce ran in the 4.3s, right?
Yeah.
which is still very solid, very good, very good. But
Yeah, it's elite, but I'm just saying, like I would love for him to go in the first round. I hope I'm wrong, but I
mean,
think
we'll
he's
see.
going to be like a second, third round guy.
If he can last us in the second, I would love to take him in the second, but I don't. There's no way.
I'd be for that.
But I agree with. I mean, there's no way he gets past the Patriots in the second. I can see that as well.
Yeah,
I don't think I could support an Alec Pierce pick just because our receiver position is
what's
like
that?
our
What's
best
that?
position.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. I think he's fading out, Josh.
Our receiver position is we have so much depth.
Yeah, but
Like,
I can see why
what's the point?
because logically we're not going to keep I don't think people like when I look at the contracts, like I can see a scenario where either
You
Boyd
can't keep
gets
all three.
right. No, but I'm saying sooner than later, whether it's a year or two before his contract's up, I can see where Boyd could get cut or traded because there's going to be
but
decisions.
He's not a slot guy though. He doesn't run the Boyd routes.
No, he's
No,
a deep receiver.
I get
which we
that,
have
but
He'd be more like a. I mean,
Auden Tate.
right, but
yeah, or Higgins. I mean, he's not really. Like,
yeah, but we're gonna have to replace
Same with
Higgins as
Higgins.
well. So
Because
when you-
Higgins is like an over the middle guy. So
No, well, no. What I'm saying is, you could put Pierce on one side of the field, and you put Chase on the other side of the field, and then you put whoever in the middle.
right.
Like, how are you going to guard that? Explain that.
Well,
one to
you're
me.
not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you prepare for that now. That's why, like,
Yeah.
the value of receivers and why, like, you can kind of go heavy on receivers is that you hold 6 to 7 every year.
Yeah, I just
So-
think I think it's still too early.
It might be too early. I like if they're
Too early
yeah,
for a
but-
receiver.
I
I think
Yeah.
you got to go 4th, 5th, 6th round and hope somebody slips to you.
I guess my
Slide to
point
you.
about going early about the receivers now is there's just so many like high end receivers this year that I don't know. I wouldn't blame them for going to receiver if they picked one in the top 3 if they felt like it was just really good value because again, there's gonna be tough decisions to be made sooner than later when people realize, but we'll see.
I feel like receiver's not one of those positions though where it's like there's not going to be a guy like this at this value next year because there will be. There always is.
I mean, it's possible.
I feel like right now is the time to grab. Like this is a very good defensive draft, in my opinion. So now is the time to grab those guys, and then next year when we're gonna have to get rid of one of them, then you pick a receiver.
That guy 45, is that the guy we picked in the first round last mock, or is
Yeah,
that the same?
From South Carolina, it is.
Yeah.
We get better grade if we get him in the second round.
We picked him in the second round last time
Yeah.
too.
Oh, we did. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. This has just been going on so long, I can't keep track.
Like I feel
All
like
right,
based
so
on
who do
this,
we-
we would go with the linebacker, right? Brian from Oklahoma, or maybe the dude from Wisconsin.
Leo from Wisconsin or Brian from Oklahoma.
Supposedly, this guy's a really good blitzer, which would be interesting for
I
us
guess
to
that's
have.
helpful.
Hmm.
But wait, what was the first round pick on this safety? Okay, I can see that.
So
I can see.
safety, I like safety. And then best player available is a linebacker.
Oh, he's got highlights. He's got to be good. Oh, he's big from the Big
Man
Ten.
blitz, that's very good.
Second round. I guess we never re-signed. What's his face? Now that I think about it, the linebacker from Oklahoma that got hurt.
Oh, Davis Gaithers?
No. Other guy. He normally plays special teams.
Yeah,
So-
I know who you're talking about.
He's also from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah. He was in the 2018 draft class, right?
Yeah,
I do not remember.
this guy's from Columbus actually.
Oh, well, you got to take him then.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Alright. Hometown guy. All right. I feel like we
Well,
almost have to go
state.
offense. Ooh.
I think we need Carson Strong from Nevada.
Actually,
Joe Burrow's just not cutting it.
I wouldn't mind if they
I
got
like
a
this
quarterback.
upside.
Maybe not
I
this
would
draft.
mind so much if they drafted a quarterback because they just signed Brandon Allen.
Well, yeah, but it's only a few $1,000,000. It like having a good backup quarterback, even if it's on a rookie quarterback or rookie contract, it's still invaluable. It's like because people
Yeah.
overpay for backup quarterbacks. It's crazy because like the Bills,
That's true.
they traded for what's his face, and he's getting paid like $6 or $9 million a year to be a backup. That's Hoyer, or was it Hoyer? No, not Hoyer. It's yeah, Bills are going in all year, like all in this year. Like they think they expect to win the Super Bowl.
Well,
like
there's been a shift in the rebuild process, and that's instead of a slow rebuild, it's you go all in with you draft your core, you go all in with the free agents, and then you deal with the consequences later. And I think this year it's going to be incredibly tough in the AFC because now the Chargers, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Bills, the Dolphins, and well, I guess and the Bengals are up there, and then the Ravens will always be tough, and the Browns are always a wild card.
What about a back? What about a running back?
unless we are looking to cut one of ours, I don't see why.
I wouldn't do that. I just feel like if we're gonna make any moves at running back, it would be to move Chris Evans up to the number 2.
Yeah,
and then
you
also
need
make him
number
our
3.
full-time returner.
Samaje Perine the number 3. I don't think
I don't think so. If he's not good enough to be the 2, then I don't think he's on the roster.
Who, Pirine?
Yeah.
I just don't think.
That's
I don't
another
know.
way
Maybe
we
it's
could
the
save,
sour taste in my mouth from the Super Bowl, but
I mean, but he's.
No, I mean,
I like him on our
he
roster
should
though.
never-
Our 3 running backs is pretty solid. Like if you go from
Yeah.
Mixon,
Yeah.
I mean,
Pirine,
it's
but
not-
or
I
even
think you could
Keyrine's
upgrade.
fault,
I think
but-
you could upgrade at running back in the 3rd round.
you can always.
if that's the
upgrade
case, then
running
we
back.
would definitely cut Pirine though. Like that would be
Yeah,
another way
I
to
would-
save
I
like
would
$2
cut
million
him.
basically.
Well, I'm not going to mock cut him. I'm just going to say I want.
You're
to
essentially
use
mock
the-
cutting him right now, Eric.
You're mock
No,
cutting.
no, no.
him.
You're
I
mock
just want to
cutting
look.
Pirine right now.
I just want to look.
All right, I'll click
Yeah,
on
I
him.
just want to
Jerome
see.
Ford.
It says 4th round though. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not. I mean,
Who are the best backs available?
See.
I just want to say that I like Samaje Perine. I'm not dissing him specifically. I'm just dissing the play calling for having him running the ball on 3rd down in the Super Bowl instead of our Pro Bowl running back, but
Yeah,
Okay.
that's weird. But I agree
who
with
were
it.
paying 100. Who were paying I don't know what.
The,
20 million
the
a
thing
year.
I like about it is I think in a weird roundabout way, I think Taylor kind of admitted that that was kind of a mistake. But you know,
Yeah, he did. He did.
so at least hopefully he learned something from it. But yeah, I don't know
Or
if
changed.
value's there for. I mean, maybe Pierce. It seems like
Damian Pierce. Yeah.
actually that wouldn't be a bad pick if he's actually pretty good, at, like catching the ball out of the backfield, and then if he can return.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I was getting back at receivers. Like if you can get a receiver that can actually return, and be like
kick
a dynamic.
returner.
Well, yeah, a kick returner or a punt returner.
Because
Then-
Darius Phillips is gone.
Yeah, he went to the Raiders. Which was funny. Like, which is odd
Yeah.
because like didn't he fumble against the Raiders twice? Or was that no? That
No,
was
no.
That was the Chargers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
He like tore his ACL halfway through the year.
oh
like-
wow, I didn't realize that.
But then after that, our kick returns like got significantly worse yards average.
Oh, there's Ford. He might be like a 5th rounder, right?
He's a 6th rounder,
6th rounder.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we can get one. I mean, I can see them getting like one really late. I actually feel like the Bengals are actually going to draft a punter. Like I really do, because it's like, why wouldn't they trade a pick for Collins?
You know,
Well, I mean,
like why wouldn't you just trade one pick?
I could
But
see
then-
them drafting a punter.
I
Because
mean,
Kevin Huber's on his way out.
well, he's not signed. We technically don't. I mean, we have the backup punter that Drew.
Oh, he's not signed.
No. So that's
Oh,
why, like, I wouldn't
I don't
surprise
think-
me
yeah.
if we dropped a punter.
I feel like
we're gearing
If he's
up.
not signed by this point, he's not going to get signed.
Well, I think if we can't draft this guy, then yeah, I think we'll go back to Huber, and then
Yeah.
because like, why not? I think he would be relatively cheap for a punter.
Well, yeah. Ironically, though, the Rams just released their guy.
Hecker.
Ecker, yeah. So do have to not wait too long because I feel like Huber's the kind of guy that the Rams would pick up in
I
like
think-
a sheer twist.
I think too, like maybe the Bengals are also waiting for other cuts as well because we know like there's going to be a massive there's going to be another quality round of cuts right before the season starts, and that's probably where we might fill in some of these other holes, like either corner or maybe an interior defensive lineman seems to be, or maybe that guard.
Well, I think Quentin Spain isn't re-signed yet, but I feel like it would be very good to re-sign him because I think you could get him cheap.
I think they might, depending on what happens in the draft, because like there's potential we might be able to get a guard, right? That could be an upgrade. But yeah, I wouldn't even if it was for depth, but they're not going to pay. I don't know. I think they're going to be. This is where they start to be cheap again, right? Because it's like
make a run at Bobby Wagner.
I would like that, but I don't see them doing it.
Actually, he might be going to the Rams, which is bad, but Gronk is still out there, but I don't know how I would feel about that.
What about JoJo? Damn, he's kind of 230 pounds. I feel like
6'1", 230. Huh?
Seems kind of heavy. It's like a safety.
Well, they just said he's like a linebacker that plays corner. If you click on his,
so he could be like a safety actually.
Or like a box safety.
This might not be bad because like that could be like Bell basically.
Yeah.
Replacement.
Big hitter.
Where do we go with the? Or I guess we just drive to the linebacker. But
what are his?
Talking about Beavers?
Yeah, click on Beavers.
He's 6'4". Damn.
Pass deflector.
He's for sure from Coleraine. I googled that.
Dude, that'd be awesome if they drafted him.
Yeah, no, he'd fit because he's a good coverage guy. He can get after the quarterback. He's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
So what are you guys thinking out of this? Are you still thinking running back? You like Beavers?
No.
I don't think a running back is a very big position of need at that point.
Nah. I would consider West.
Center?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Because then if the center pans out, you can just shift you can shift Karras over to left guard probably pretty easily.
Oh, they said A- on that one.
All right.
So
look at us.
Actually, the way this looks, it's not bad. But I truly feel like if we're not going to get like a corner, I don't know. I could definitely maybe see us trading down because safety. Like
I feel like honestly, the best situation is to trade down.
I think you called it. I think they're going to trade out of the first round.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a quarterback needy team that wants to pop into the first round.
Not even
they're going to pick up an extra third round pick.
The only reason why that sucks is because we have to wait like the 4 hours just for them to trade out. But then the second day is going to be awesome because it's like, how many second round picks do you think we
don't have to wait the 4 hours? We don't have to watch until like.
That's true. That's true.
There's two guys on the board that they would wait for, and if they don't, they trade. And that's Linderbaum.
For some reason, my battery's about to die. I can't figure out what the heck's going on.
On your
on the one with the camera. So keep going. I'm just gonna play with the plug.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
But I mean, I heard safety could be a dark horse or even linebacker at the end of the first, but I just don't see the because if the draft does play out the way, is there like a recap? Yeah. Yeah, because like you're gonna get these crazy teams that are gonna want to trade back in. That seems to be the new thing to do, which makes sense too. If you can get a quarterback late in the first to potentially add that additional year,
oh yeah,
it's kind of worth it. But they have Malik. I think this is right. I think if there is one quarterback,
I just don't think Malik Willis is better than Desmond Ridder.
I think he just like the thing is that. And this is why like people get so excited is that when you have really good measurables, it's not like a guarantee that you're gonna like like be a knockout or like a guaranteed star, right? But it's just like a sign. It's like a clue that it could be, right?
It's
What's
a
up,
well, it's
Rob?
a sign that you're like, if you do end up having the pro level skills, that the physical aspect will be able to keep up.
Yeah, Rob says, I have a feeling they'll trade back unless one of their few targeted players will fall to 31. Yeah, I feel like it's got to be like one of those corners. Like the one I was looking at was Booth. There was some mocks where I did where he fell, which would kind of make sense. And there was another corner I felt like, oh, yeah, here, Elam. But yeah, I feel like someone maybe trading in to get to the 31st or 32nd or 30th or whatever to potentially get a QB. Because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Ritter's not getting enough love. Like I get like he may not have like all the measurables you would want out of like elite quarterback, but I feel like between the ears though.
I think the only knock against Desmond Ritter is that sometimes he's pretty inaccurate, but that clearly that doesn't matter because Josh Allen was picked like 15th, and he was the most inaccurate quarterback in that draft by a mile, and they fixed it. Now he's not a pinpoint passer, but like he's improved greatly. So I
Yeah.
think like the technical stuff is teachable,
Right.
but the physicality that Desmond Ritter has is not teachable.
Fifth year options is important for the QB. Yeah, yeah. It's such a smart play for someone that like right now the way I'm looking at it is it's going to be the Seattle. They're going to be the team that trades up, possibly the Lions, possibly, but
Especially because they didn't get Deshaun, so
but I'm pretty sure they have a lot of trade capital too, like with
They
what
do.
happened
Well,
with Wilson.
they just traded Wilson.
Yeah. So like I could see them contacting a lot of these teams at the end. I guess really it makes the most sense with the Chiefs because they have multiple picks. So like losing one wouldn't really be that big of a deal, but
Yeah,
be interesting. I mean, last year was kind of crazy with everything that was going on, even before the draft.
I don't know. I feel like last year the conversation was a little bit less interesting for the Bengals because it was very clearly Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell. So it was one or the other, and then it worked out. But the decision this year is a lot more complicated because we have the option to go more mid-round picks, and that's generally where your picks tend to hit more as the Bengals front office. Or you could potentially reach on a guard, or if you're lucky, Linderbaum falls a few more picks, and then you take him.
I think they know that Linderbaum's going to fall. Like based off of everything that we did in the offseason, I think they have a strong feeling that he's going to fall because that's what makes Karras' deal makes the most sense. Because I feel like if they weren't really potentially going for Linderbaum, then why haven't we signed Shredder yet?
Exactly,
why? Because like in my mind, he probably would
he's
take
not signed yet.
Yeah, right. Because like he was on a $6 million deal, right? So like to me, like what? Like why wouldn't you get that guy, put him in center, and then slide Karras to guard, and then we would have a really tight offensive line for what we have.
Exactly.
Unless you're targeting Linderbaum, right? That makes sense. So maybe the thing is like, well, if we can't get this guy in the first, right, and things don't work out, maybe a Treader is waiting for us to potentially sign with us after the draft. I don't know if we have that much pull or if he's willing to wait.
I think we do. I think we have. I think as a team to go to, we do, and then we also have the money to drop. Still, we have a bit of cap.
Feels like
even after draft picks, we still have like I think 15 million.
Yeah.
And we can structure it with signing bonuses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I would be down for Linderbaum.
They have to
in the
know
first.
something because you wouldn't sign Karras and Kappa because those guys are like can flex between center and guard. So,
I mean, in a perfect world, right? We get Linderbaum that falls, right, and then we can slide Karras over. Yeah. Or if it's a case where like maybe there's potential that Ah, crap, I can't think of his name. The guy that we drafted last year in the second round. Maybe he can figure it out and actually provide some.
Jackson Carman.
Yeah, Carmen couldn't. I mean, I would like to see him figure it out and provide more competition, because if we draft a guy like Linderbaum and maybe it works out to where they keep Karras as a center for this year, and then Carmen as a guard, and then we have Linderbaum as depth, that would be awesome. That would be a great sign, right? Because that would mean Jackson
incredible.
Carmen is playing really well. Worst case scenario, you put Linderbaum in center and then you slide Karras over.
Yeah.
But yeah, Linderbaum to me would be one of the dream scenarios, or maybe one of those better corners at the end of the first. But I don't know. Like every time, like it seems like I do these mock drafts, it seems like they're starting to go up in the draft. So that's kind of a scary. I don't know what's going on. I heard Zion Johnson, or maybe even Kenyon Green, maybe at guard would make sense, but I don't know.
I don't know about drafting a guard. I think you draft the center if you're going to go online.
So we have 12 to 15 million, according to Jake. Yeah, so I think the move right now would be, because we pretty much, unless a Gilmore is willing to take a team-friendly deal right now, then we're better off drafting and then seeing what falls. And then, because like I said, there's going to be like more players available towards closer to the beginning of the year based off of the 53-man roster type deal. So, like, we're still in a really strong position. Like, it's just crazy how well the Bengals have prepared to this point. Like, and I'm sorry?
It's been a very quick, like, they were on the traditional rebuild path. And then, like, they got their guy, and he turned out to be Joe Burrow. He turned out to be able to do way more with way less than they ever could have thought. And is reasonably expectable from anybody. And they decided, hey, this could really work out. And like a surprising move of clarity, they went in and they signed a bunch of guys last year that were top, like mid-tier, solid free agents for the defense. And then this year they went in and fixed the problem that we had last year, which was O-line. And so all of a sudden, it's been 2 years since they were 1-15, and now they're in the Super Bowl. And they did it through drafting and then making very fiscally responsible decisions. So it's just like incredibly impressive to me, especially considering their history with like not giving out guaranteed money and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's almost like we're trying to like
win,
but it's like we're showing the NFL like how to do it in a way. I feel like, because like
I think the Bengal model is the optimal model right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like
because we still have a future,
right? Well, because we hit the two most important positions, right? I think if you go down the line, well, maybe so like the most important position, right? Easily quarterback, right? Then I would probably have to say receiver, right? Second most important position. If you're just like
I think if you're on a team and every single person is average, the first position you want to fill is quarterback, then someone for them to throw it to, and then you want to fill
pass rush, and then pass rush, right?
It's pass coverage, pass rush, running back. Well, actually, running back, surprisingly enough, is one of the least valuable positions in my eyes.
Yeah, because the
they're
league is
incredibly
so
replaceable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
Leonard Fournette is the perfect example of a system running back.
Yeah.
Well, put him back on the Jaguars, I don't think he's as good.
It's funny to me because it's like if you look at Mixon's contract, it's crazy how well that the Bengals got it right. Because I think he was kind of hesitant to sign because at the time it was kind of below like average. But if you look at
then he realized,
it's a minus
a very secure contract.
Yeah, well, he still potentially could get cut after this year, which we might want to watch out for.
I don't think they'll ever cut Mixon.
Not if he produces the way he does. Stupid. Like because he's on a very it's a good contract. It's like what he's actually worth, right?
And
it's like they got it right. So like he's not he just needs to play to his standard, and then he's going to stay on his contract. It's just like if you look at the other running backs, they're overvalued, right? And they're really like
Kamara. I think Henry is overpaid. I think Kamara's overpaid.
as long as he stays
No,
healthy, he's one of the ones where it's just he's such a workhorse, but he got hurt.
thing.
Finally caught up.
He played half of the Titans games last season. I don't know the specific numbers, but the guy they replaced him with, Dante Foreman, replicated his A-game numbers exactly, like to a T. And it made me rethink how valuable Derrick Henry is. Like, obviously, he's clearly still the best running back, but if you already have a solid foundation team in place, how valuable is an all-star running back? Like, actually. It's just an interesting thought experiment because historically, there's a shift now where if you have a bad team, your running back is generally going to carry you to a few wins because they can get the ball every time. Whereas now it's the quarterback and receivers are the main focus point, and teams are realizing you don't need a great running back to win.
Yeah, because they open the field so much that like it's not important to control the ball as much as it used to be because like
it's not.
With the way the spacings work, it's just like as long as you have a sure-handed receiver, like you're gonna get your yards one way or another. So it's like, yeah, the value of running back has really, unless you are like a Joe Mixon where you're kind of like a jack of all trades, then you can actually stay on the field longer. But
well, the thing I think the separating factor between Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry is that Joe Mixon is a horizontal running back. Like, you can line Joe Mixon up on the sideline.
yeah,
Because I saw them do that, and
Yeah.
it worked. You can't line Derrick Henry up out at the X.
no,
You just can't do it. Because he's not as sure-handed.
Yeah, but I think what makes I guess Derrick Henry so valuable is that when he's healthy, he's just very consistent, and it's really hard.
That's
to see
true.
That,
It's like you can expect your 150
yeah, like
yards and a
you
touchdown.
know he's gonna get like, and I would even say he like after he signed his contract, like he played up to the because I want to say like the year
Almost
after he
got
signed it.
better.
Well, yeah, because I think he had his 2,000-yard year like when he signed his contract, the extension.
He had his 2,000-yard year, and then
then
they
he got
extended
hurt.
him for a lot. And then, yeah, he had that freak injury.
Well, no, because I feel like he was extended, and then he had his big year, and then he got hurt. Like it was like he actually like played really well even after because normally with running backs, it always seems like they get their extension and they get hurt. It's like they they earn their money and then
Well,
they
it's
get hurt
like
'cause
it's
they
like,
catch-
hey,
'cause it
why do you
catches up
want
to him.
the long-term extension? Is so that if I get hurt, I still get paid.
like running back, you're getting hit regardless of what happens on the play. So like that's why they just don't last that long in the NFL. I mean, they're like linebackers, right? Linebackers and running backs, they don't typically last that long in the NFL because they just take so much abuse.
It's just incredibly unfortunate because I like Joe Mixon a lot, but I feel like there's going to be a point where it is
Well,
not worth it to have him on the team.
yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. And then Evans
It's unfortunate.
was like a lot better than what I anticipated. Like he seemed to be like very like a shadow of Mixon, kind of like. I mean, in his own way. Like I think they definitely have their differences, but he was a bit shifty.
think
He's a lot
Chris
faster
Evans
and
is
bigger
more
than
like
what I thought.
Giovanni Bernard, but like
Yeah,
a
but
bit
bigger, right? And
Yeah.
it was like,
which seems to be the new trend in running backs is big and shifty,
yeah,
which
So,
is
like,
just like crazy.
which
but
is nice because it's like we already have like kind of like our replacement built in for Mixon.
kind of
which I
what
like.
Joe Mixon is. He's big and shifty too.
Same with Tyler Boyd. Time is running. That's what I'm saying. Like I think realistically with the 3 receiver set we have this year and next year, right? We have 2 more years of this, and then
I think just this year because Tyler Boyd.
I think technically he's got 2 more years.
Okay.
But I mean, you're right.
I feel
You're
like-
right. He could be like after this year, he could be like because there's 2 directions we can go, right? We could continue the 3 receiver set, which will always be
Works
successful.
incredibly.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess we could have 3 dynamic receivers, or we get rid of one of those receivers like a Boyd or maybe eventually Higgins, and then we
think
get
you
that
have to go
dynamic
to
tight
Boyd.
end. And that's how we're whether we draft him potentially this draft. I think for sure next year.
Bad Moss.
gonna- I like Moss. I think there's a reason why we brought him in. I really do. But
It's like half a joke that I'm a Thad Moss truther. I feel like honestly he's like the physicality is really what we want because
Receiver-
tight end production really is a product of the quarterback if you think about it.
Rob says we're just so available in the draft, or receivers are just so available in the draft right now, especially slot guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't mind if we draft a receiver kind of early if they're dynamic in the way that they can, if they're fast and they can provide value in special teams in one way or another, right? So if we get that receiver and they can either be a punt returner or a kick returner, that way we can get some type of value now. And then maybe down the road they can fill in for either a Higgins or a Boyd. That would make sense to me. But
I would be
if they're just a
okay with
one-trick
that,
pony, then yeah, I don't want to draft them early. But if it's going to be early, they have to fill a need, which would have to be a slot in. Like they could potentially replace Boyd in the slot now for a breather, or if he gets hurt, or specifically returning. Like that's an actually upgrade that we could probably get in the draft, is get a better returner for sure.
I think eventually next offseason is going to be the reckoning probably, because we can either keep Boyd next year for 2 years, and we've got all three for 2 years, and then we've got that trifecta. But then second year, there's a nightmare scenario where they start wanting more targets because they know Higgins and Boyd that one of them is going at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Or in the middle of the year at the trade deadline. So that's the nightmare scenario. But the problem is that this Bengals team, what sets it apart from all these other built-up super teams is that most of these guys played together for multiple years or struggled together to get to where they are now. Like, they have a very good bond. I think the Bengals locker room is much less business-like than a lot of NFL locker rooms.
Yeah, it kind of has chemistry that you would kind of see either on like a college team or maybe even like a high school team.
It feels like a high school locker room.
Yeah, and that to me means a lot. And I think that's kind of the reason why Collins went to come back.
And that's, I think specifically that is a big product of drafting Ja'Marr Chase, because players see that Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow have this incredible bond. They're like, they've got other players on that team that they know already. There's veterans there, and they're like, this is a very good environment to be in, and that is very conducive to winning. And I think that's what sets the Bengals apart from LA specifically.
Yeah, and there is a scenario where I could see them keeping like the three receivers for, I guess, as long as possible. Because, I mean, we could still potentially tag Boyd if we really need to and keep him one more additional year. I mean, it would take a lot.
I'm apprehensive about tagging Boyd.
The
because
only
I feel
way we would have to like be in potential to go back to back in a Super Bowl, right? Like we would have to win the Super Bowl, and we would have to show like it would be necessary to keep all the pieces to replicate what we did. That's where I can see but numbers don't lie. Like the way these receivers get paid, like right now, Boyd is technically getting underpaid. I feel like, right? So it's like,
I think production wise, yes, but I feel like if you took him and made him wide receiver one on another team, it wouldn't be as high.
Right.
I think now Boyd's production, or his eye test production, is a product of Ja'Marr and T. Higgins. Not to diss Boyd, because on his own, obviously we saw without Ja'Marr and T that he's a capable wide receiver one. It's just that I feel like he's being overvalued just a little bit. But
maybe like we don't need like all of his ability for what he does for us, but like in a way, I do think we kind of hold him back, because if he definitely was a number one on somewhere else, he would have a lot more production, would definitely increase his value. So like that's why I could see him like, say if this doesn't, we go through this year and we could see like, okay, well maybe having three receivers, like, because sometimes I think like if we get like a tight end that's more like kind of like what we had in Eifert. Oh man, Eifert on this offense would be just like so sick. Like
Eifert before the glass ankle.
Right. No, yeah, like
so
just
sick,
when Eifert was like
incredible.
Right, like he was kind of like basically
he was up there with Gronk. He was being talked about in the same sentence.
Production wise, yeah, like but
production wise, 2015 he had 13 touchdowns, I think it was. And that was just like, wow. Like,
I think Eric's back. Hold on.
That's great.
No,
but just tight end, I feel Uzama, I love Uzama. I respect that he went to go get his bag, but his production is minimal.
Yeah, I mean,
very replaceable.
Yeah, because again, like Boyd was taking all of his like additional yards, right? Because like that's why like I think Hurst in a way probably fits in a little bit better because it's like we don't.
He's very cheap too.
Well, that and there really isn't that much of a drop off, right?
There's not.
From
talent wise, I would say there's not.
And honestly, there's probably more upside for Hurst because like he wasn't really showcased, and like to me, Hurst is like the
because
perfect.
he was behind Pitts.
Right.
In his whole career, he's been behind Mark Andrews and he's been behind Kyle Pitts.
Right. So like the dream scenario for the Bengals right now would be like we make him look really good and
then
he signs a big contract somewhere else. Like, well, it's only a 1-year deal, but like you could still get a compensate.
That's true.
But he would have to perform really well. Like it would have to be.
But I feel that brings up an interesting point to make him look really good, because then that if multiple years in a row. A cheap talent that nobody has recognized signs with the Bengals, looks really good in our system, and signs somewhere else for perhaps an overvalued contract. That looks very enticing for young talent that feels like it's been dumped off a team. I don't have any specific names, like an example of that, but like someone who with a chip on their shoulder, and I feel like that's what the Bengals want, and that's what the Bengals locker room attracts.
Yeah, I mean, like the Hurst has that potential. Apple probably has that potential.
Yeah,
to even...
Apple specifically is a very good example of that.
Yeah,
people
but the thing is
hated him.
I just didn't like all the trash talk that he had. I mean, like if you look at it, like he had like a pretty solid year for like how he performed. Especially compared to like the beginning of his career or whatever, like he kind of had a breakout year, right? That's what a lot of
people don't like, is that he trash talks.
Yeah, but the way, like, that's like he didn't have to say like, but I get it though. I mean, like if you feel like you're of a status and people are like looking down at you, like you might be kind of defensive in that way. But I think sometimes you say more when you say less, and you
trash talk the Chiefs the way he did on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he deserved that because they were kind of taking shots at him before the games that they played, that they feel really good about how their passing offense is going to go against the Bengals. And both times, Eli Apple stepped up and made plays and shut them down. So I feel like he won that right to trash talk.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you trash talk as violently as he does, and like as loudly as he does on Twitter, you open yourself up when you get burned in the Super Bowl,
right?
On the walk-off play, or not the walk-off,
honestly,
go-ahead touchdown.
That's what it comes down to.
Like,
if you're willing to talk, you got to walk the walk.
Up.
Yeah, so
you're vulnerable.
Yeah, as long as you're okay with being vulnerable.
He doesn't care. He's showed that he doesn't care, and that's kind of what I like in a corner.
I like that too, but at the same time, it's like, dude, just move on.
Yeah.
Like, but don't get me wrong. I like the signing. But he also has another, like, because if they both had breakout years, I mean, they could sign bigger contracts.
Yeah, definitely.
If people call me a bust and I wasn't fit to play in the NFL, and when I had his talent, I'd be vocal too, probably. No, I get it. But, like, yeah, it was just like, I don't know. But I feel like I am not him.
People are overreacting to that. Like, he earned the right. He knows that if he gets burnt or if he gets beaten in an embarrassing fashion, which I don't even think he did, but people seem to think he did, that he opens himself up to being
and to be fair,
and I think he accepts that risk.
I could be overly critical because when I was reading a lot of these comments, it was like literally right after the Super Bowl, so like I probably wasn't but at the same time, it's like these are because the Bengals are like, this is why it's so important. These next 2 to 3 drafts are going to be very important if somehow we like continue this building this dynasty and then making it go forward, right? Because like you always have to have replacements. And
do we become a flash in the pan? Are we the late 2000s New York Giants, or are we the Patriots?
Are you saying Eli Apple only gave up 20 yards in the Super Bowl? Because I feel like it was more than that. But I know he gave up the final touchdown. But
it was 20 yards. But the main thing is the final touchdown. He got kind of toasted.
Yeah. I think then I think we're over, or at least from my perspective, I'm probably over analyzing him. But you always remember
It's an
the last thing.
overreaction.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Eli Apple's not the reason why we lost the Super Bowl. Like
Oh, it's
it's
not.
like
It's not.
I guess where I'm getting at with it is just like I'm more of like I guess like kind of like the Browns philosophy, like just say less by saying nothing, or like when you win, or if you lose, say nothing,
Well,
and then
I
when you
wouldn't
win, you
call
say
that
less.
the Browns' philosophy.
Well,
because
Mike
they
Brown.
have Baker Mayfield on their team.
No, I'm talking about
But
like no,
Paul Brown.
Yeah, sorry, Paul Brown. Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Brown had a quote. I think like when you lose, say nothing. When you win, say less. Like that mantra, like just don't say anything. Like
that's kind of what the Patriots did.
kind of, and that's kind of like Burrow's mantra too. Is just like show it on the field versus. But at the same time,
I think
get it.
he did say something about that. It's like if you're a young athlete, don't post your workouts to social media, stuff like that. Like just be humble and like take your wins and take your losses in stride, stuff like that. But yeah, it's just like the draft. How we draft from now on determines like, are we going to be able to reload on our guys with a couple franchise cornerstones, or are we going to end up just being a flash in the pan?
I don't think so. I think
it these
Collins-
next few years are absolutely critical.
Collins is a big, to me, sign because it's showing
That's true.
how the other people from other organizations feel about us, right? Because in my mind, Collins could have easily went somewhere else, right, and probably got paid a little bit more, whatever that difference was.
Oh yeah, no,
And even on the
Dolphins
Patriots-
were ready to drop him a massive bag.
Well, no, I
They were
heard
going to drop
I heard,
him a lot of money.
I heard the Patriots came in with a really significant
Mhm.
offer as well, and
Yeah.
that to me, like we beat out probably Dolphins who probably offered him the most, and probably the Patriots who offered him more than what we did. So like
yeah,
that just shows like what kind of clout we have ever since Burrow
and
got
on
here.
that, I saw this today. The contracts of Harris, Kappa, and Collins combined is worth less than what the Dolphins gave Teron Armstead. So what this tells me is that the Bengals front office is no longer cheap. They're thrifty now. Like they understand how to spend their money and spend it wisely. Because I feel like Lel Collins, Alex Kappa, and Ted Karras is far more valuable than one Teron Armstead. It's like it's a good omen, I think.
Yeah, and kind of to what Rob is saying, yeah, honestly, like kind of going back to what Burrow said is like for me, it's like a tough loss to swallow. Like we need to appreciate everything. Like what we did to even get there was amazing. Like the fact that we beat the Chiefs, the Titans,
Twice.
Yeah, twice, and the way we beat them is just fantastic.
It's incredibly similar both times.
But to go back to what you're saying, Rob, like I think everything that people are overlooking, especially when it comes to Bengals, minus all the free agent stuff, the drafts, whatever, we got to keep both of our coordinators. I think that might be one of the biggest deals going into this next year is that when we had really successful teams with Marvin Lewis, it never failed. The year after, we always at least had one coordinator that was plucked, and it always kind of ruined something, right? The fact that we're able to kind of reload and then actually fix an issue that we actually fixed. I mean, obviously it could be better, but we actually addressed and corrected an issue with the line. Like, it's hard to say going into the season, how are we not going to be better, right? Just based off of having continuity, more
the only
experience.
way we're not better is to get overconfident and get thrown. Our schedule is significantly harder this year. Significantly.
Just the
significantly
AFC
tougher.
in general is a gauntlet. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of good teams that are not going to make the playoffs this year. I mean, look how stacked the AFC is.
I think I saw a graphic. It was like all these teams that are stacked. It's like you can look at this team. It's like I can see this team making the conference championship, and it was like 8 different teams. And it's like mathematically 3 of these teams have to miss
it's
the
like
playoffs.
I feel like there's 10 teams that
Who
have
is
a
it?
legitimate
Like,
shot in the AFC that can
it's
make it.
incredible.
Well, look
It's
at the
incredible.
quarterbacks. Like all the best quarterbacks now are in the AFC minus.
There's been a massive power shift
Yeah.
over like the last 5 years between the NFC and AFC. Like who are the best quarterbacks in the NFC?
They even traded. I know he's not the best anymore, but Matt Ryan's even in the AFC now.
Yeah, he's in the AFC.
The
Who's
NFC
the best
has-
quarterback in the NFC? It's Brady
and Rodgers,
Matthew
and then
Stafford.
Brady and
Brady,
let's be
Rodgers, and
real,
Stafford.
Brady's Brady, but I mean, he's still becoming like a shell of himself, right? Like he's not like
I don't know about that. I would say he's becoming more and more reliant on other players around him.
I mean, at this
But
point,
I would still Brady is still.
This is a hot
top.
take. This is a hot take.
What?
But, I mean, right
What?
now, like going into this, just like, would you take Brady or Burrow right now? Like right now, going into next year,
Well, it depends. Are you talking one season?
one season.
One season.
I think when we played the NFC South, it's a tough question, right? Because like obviously
One season. Because Brady, I don't know. Which team? Are we transplanting Burrow
Starting
onto the
over right now.
Buccaneers? Or are we transplanting
starting
Brady?
over right now.
Oh, starting over.
Starting over completely. Like we're gonna redraft everything, right?
Burrow. In that situation, you want
Right,
Burrow.
exactly.
Because I feel like he can do more with less.
Exactly.
I think Brady has never been in that situation before, where he has to do more with less.
Well, because it's like Burrow showed that he was able to elevate and get people to play at a higher level. Like, there's no reason why we should have made it to the Super Bowl. No reason.
Clearly,
right?
Brady elevates.
We did
those
because
around
of
him,
something, right?
right?
And
So,
that's
yeah.
the Joe Burrow factor. Is that he's able, like, that's what really good players do. They elevate other people's games.
And Brady does that too, to an extent.
He
Like,
does.
Chris
but,
Hogan
but
is
then-
not a good
but
wide
he's
receiver.
at his career where
And yet,
he actually needs help from other people too, right? You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's where Burrow will get. Like every quarterback gets that point because like it's just age, dude. Like you don't get faster with time, right? You get slower.
oh,
like-
you get slower.
Like you're able to process things faster in your mind because of experience, but your body physically gets slower. Like it's just
Physically, right now,
just the
Joe
way-
Burrow is more capable, and I think
because like
you have two very different
like
leadership
the easy
styles.
way to look at it, like if you put Burrow on Tampa and then put Brady on the Bengals, there's no like
They're both still good, but I would rather.
Bengals
but
weren't making the
Buccaneers are
playoffs.
Clearly,
I'm telling you right
clearly
now,
better.
if Brady was on behind the Bengals line
Last year's Bengals, absolutely not.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. But
It's-
if
Brady
Burrow
is
was
not-
on Tampa's team last year, they're still making the playoffs, and they're probably
Yeah.
making a Super Bowl run, right?
Oh yeah, for
Right?
sure.
So it's
Because
like-
Brady is not mobile. He cannot escape a sack to save his life. His strength is that he gets the ball out really quickly.
Burrow's
But
as
the
good as
problem with
Brady
that
was
was
in
on
year
the
6.
Bengals.
I can see that.
Bengals is that
And
the
but-
receivers take develop routes. Like it's a different system, and yet the Buccaneers system is far different. But I think Burrow transplants right into that perfectly.
if Brady came up in high school, college day, he would have been more. I agree with that. Like that's one thing I really do respect about Brady is that the way he takes care of his body, like it's just like
Incredible.
yeah, like you have to have like an incredible because it's hard. It's hard to be healthy. Like it really,
Especially
like, it's
when
just like
especially when he was younger in the early 2000s as a quarterback. That era was not as
like I could not tell you.
incredibly health centric with the food for athletes and stuff like that.
Isn't it funny to see like some of these athletes? Not funny, but it's just weird to see like some of these athletes like they're fit, obviously, because like when they're playing, you have to work out. But
Because
then and then how far,
they're high performance athletes.
yeah, and then how far they drop off as soon as they stop like
oh my
playing
gosh.
football. Yeah, it's just
it's crazy. It's like a lineman. Well, a lineman is kind of the other way, but it's like maintaining a playing weight, and then as soon as they retire, it just drops drastically, like almost to an unhealthy level. Like it's the NFL is, I don't know, the progress of the NFL is, I think, just a slight tangent, but it's kind of getting to the point where people are trying to control their bodies to a point where it could be unhealthy.
yeah.
Like beyond the blunt trauma to the body constantly.
Yeah, I think rest and recovery is very important, and I think that's
And-
why
yeah.
Tom Brady's kind of figured it out because like I think his whole routine is it's like the whole cycle.
His
It's about,
routine
like,
is like stretching and rest. He
Yeah, and
doesn't-
then nutrition is a big part of it. Where
Nutrition,
like
yeah.
some people's workout plan is literally just to beat their body up as hard as they can, which is like
and then do
good
it again
for-
the next day.
yeah, it's good for like 10 years, and that's why your body goes to crap after a while. But like if you're trying to
Make
do
your
what
money,
Tom,
but then you feel really bad
Right.
afterwards for like years. And then I think
you're done for it exactly.
I think biomechanics, which is the new wave beyond sabermetrics. I don't know how versed you are in this, but it's essentially it's just monitoring how the body moves and with what efficiency the body moves. Essentially, what it's doing is turning players into robots with gears to be tuned and, fuel levels to be adjusted. And it's like this removes the human element of the sport. And it also makes me worried about player health in the future a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bigger thing in baseball, but it's also in football quite a bit.
oh, I'm sure. I mean, if it's one thing,
Baseball,
it's in everything. Sure.
Baseball, surprisingly, as old as people make it out to be, it's a very modern sport on the inside.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But like it bleeds over into football too. Like you're seeing it now with like pro football focus grades and stuff like that. Sabermetrics, they're catching up. Now they're going to catch up to biomechanics, and it makes me very worried for player health.
Yeah.
That was a tangent, but it's just something that's on my mind.
No worries. But actually, I think this would probably be a good time to stop it anyways. We kind of covered everything that we need to cover, but I think Eric might be on vacation next week, so I'm not sure if we'll do this next week. But anyways, we'll continue to stream on Wednesdays. We might have a little break here because of vacations and stuff. But thank you, Drew, for stopping by. I know Eric had to dip out because I think computer died, but no worries on that. And thank you, Rob, for showing up. I appreciate that. It's nice hearing from you and hearing your thoughts or seeing your thoughts. But yeah, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a good one, Drew. Have a good one, everybody.
All right, yeah, you too. Who day?
All right, who day?